So it looks like we're on. How's everyone doing this morning? Good. All right, this is the Your First Con Tips and Tricks panel. My name is Kijani.
I'm Hogwash. Hi, everybody. Oh, come on. It just started and you guys are already tired?
Yeah, we're still waking up, I think.
It's no excuse.
So this panel is going to be all about, first of all, how many of you is this actually your very first convention? Should be most of you. Oh, nice. Very good. Well, welcome.
Very nice.
This panel will have to do with just advice, tips, and tricks that we've gathered over the years from our convention attending experience to help you make the most of your first convention. A lot of stuff is somewhat, common sense, but a lot of it is stuff that people don't really know or stuff that we have learned because we like to pass on our expertise to you guys. Just a quick introduction. My name is Kijani. This is actually my 39th furry convention. That basically, all that means is I'm really old. That's all it means. I've been hosting a lot of panels and events, and I also run a local meetup group here in the Seattle area called Fur Life, and we do a lot of member-run meets, but we also have a Fur Bowl every 3 months that I host called When Furballs Strike. I've been doing that for about 15 years, so all right, that's me. I'll let Hogwash introduce himself.
So I've been in the fandom since 2010, so I'm still pretty new to this. I don't know how many furry cons I've been to, but not nearly enough as Kijani, so he set the bar pretty high. I do a lot of dance panels. I do convention competitions, floor wars, mostly prelims. So if you guys are any performers in here, any dancers going to sign up for the dance comp this year? Maybe? No? It's a very fun event. So if you guys dance in your bathroom or in your bedroom behind a closed door in front of a mirror, then you're already started. So just keep that in mind. That's just about me. I'm from California. I recycled to Washington, so I'm not that far away. It's been a fantastic panel. This has been a fantastic panel, and the convention is, I'm one of the founding members. So I've been here since the very first one. So it's been fun watching this convention grow as it has. So that's me.
All right. Okay, so we have a lot of information to go through. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to ask that you hold them to the end. We'll do a question and answer at the end. We can answer anything you have in the remaining time. But first, so I guess the most important thing is that you all should have your badges, which are medallions at this convention. You need to make sure you wear them at all times. That's what's going to get you into your convention space activities and stuff. Who's heard of the 621 rule? Some of you have, yeah. Okay, so it's kind of cliche, but it's really important to try to follow that as close as you can. The 6 stands for, thank you. The 6 stands for 6 hours of sleep, and it's very important to be well rested for a number of reasons, for alertness to avoid that midday crash, and also to keep your immune system up because your body needs to rest and recharge for the day and all the things you're doing at the con. Switch off bullet points, I guess. Yeah, sure.
So the 2 stands for 2 meals. Food, if anybody knows, food is your fuel. It keeps you going, it gives you energy, but you need to make sure that you maintain a nutritional balance. Because if you hype up on too much sugar, which I consider Mountain Dew, you're going to crash super hard because there's a lot of sugar in Mountain Dew. So just make sure that you have, a balanced meal, just like you would at home, and have at least 2 of them. Good hearty meals, proteins, carbohydrates, some fats, but not a lot. So just make sure that you're fueling yourself properly. It's also going to play a part in your health as well. So we want to make sure that you guys arrive here healthy, and then when you leave, you also leave healthy. Okay?
You mean Mountain Dew's not a food group? I thought they changed that. Oh, darn.
I don't know if it's a
I'm
triangle
in trouble
anymore.
then. Okay, the 1 stands for 1 shower a day. This one's really important, especially if you're a fursuiter, because obviously you would sweat a lot. You need to try to keep up your personal hygiene. Body odor, as we all know, is very unpleasant, and it's kind of also a biohazard issue because it's caused by bacteria. So if it is a problem, staff will not hesitate to tell you to go back to your room and address that, and don't be that person. So take your daily shower. Also, tips to avoid con crud. COVID still is a thing, and also, just the flu season. So obviously masking will help in crowded areas, but also try to sanitize and wash your hands as much as you can. pace yourself, drink lots of water, stay hydrated, and also you can also boost your immune system by taking like vitamin C supplements and stuff like that. That will help. Scheduling now? Yeah.
Okay, so who here has a plan for this con?
Yay! That's a lot of you.
Some
Good.
of you. Okay, so that leads into our next thing is scheduling. So, if you want to get the most out of this convention, the easiest way is to make a list. Go through the programming, find out what things interest you and your friends, and attend those things. Make sure you kind of like plan. It's like going to Disneyland. You don't want to wait in line all day long. You want to maximize your amount of time here while we are here. So. Scheduler. Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Schedule
So the Sched is, the schedule for this convention is on an app called Sched. Hopefully all of you have been able to, it's available for Android and iPhone. And it's really cool because it has all of the convention panels, every single event listed. And you can, once you make an account, you can select what you want to attend. And you can also see who else is attending that panel as well. It just helps keep you organized. So my advice, I always like to be really, plan out a con, there's two ways to do it. There's one you can just kind of, just kind of wing it. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Wing it and just kind of go with the flow. But especially because there's so much programming, quality programming at this convention, I like to try to have a daily schedule set so I don't miss anything. So if you're like that, you can use that Sched app. Let's see. Oh yeah, the dining guide. So the dining guide, I made the dining guide. I've been doing that since the beginning of this con. There are lots of copies near registration on floor 5. There's I think 40 plus entries this year in the dining guide. It's basically all the restaurants, coffee shops, or whatever within maybe a 10-minute walking radius of the hotel. There's lots of great options for all palates and budgets. So if you're looking for something to eat, whether it's a nice meal or something quick, I would definitely check out that dining guide.
Okay, so moving on. So has anybody ever heard of Flare? Flare? No? One person? Okay, so Flare is basically our overall kind of background idea. So Flare stands for the First Lunar Advanced Recon Element. So we're generally first on scene. We're always around. I'm not really quite sure what the advanced part for. We always do recon, so we're always watching, and then we're also an element of a group of people. So we have our lead is Craig. He's the Puma Racer on Telegram, and then the main thing about Flare is safety. It's everybody's safety, whether you're 4 or 6 or 8 months old, all the way to the oldest person who is here. It's not me. You need to contact them if you feel unsafe in any way, if you're feeling uncomfortable, if you're having any kind of medical emergency, that's where our medics will be. Anything that looks out of the ordinary, feel free to come and find us. Our hours we're on floor 5. And the hours of operation were there from 7 a.m. until 2 a.m. the next day. Those are when, between that time is when our doors will be closed, but there's always somebody on call just in case there's something goes wrong. The nice thing about this year is that we're really big on the mental health side. So this year we actually have a licensed psychologist on staff. So if at any point you're having any kind of mental or emotional distress in any way, feel free to reach out to us. We'll reach out to the psych, and then maybe we can get you linked up with them, so that way we can get you the help that you need as soon as possible. Okay. The medics are myself, and then we also have Flare Medic 39. He's also one of the EMTs on staff. He says that he's going to be available from until the moment he wakes up until the moment he goes to sleep. I'll be on call, so if he needs help, then I'll be the one who helps him out. Let's see. Do you want to go over first?
Okay. Yeah. So this convention is very friendly for young furs, 18 and under. We have a chill space at the convention for those young furs. It's in 505, which is Queets. It's for young furs and their parents only. And we also have the youth fursuit games, which is 9:30 a.m. on Saturday, and they're basically easier, more kid-friendly games. And the adult fursuit games will be immediately after that. So check those out. And we have a couple of volunteers here. We're not quite to that part of the panel yet, but we'll get there in just a minute. So we're going to talk about fursuiting right now. For how many of you are first-time fursuiters? Or new fursuiters? Good, quite a few of you. Awesome. Okay, we have a lot of kind of basic do's and don'ts and advice for first-timers. So first one is drink lots of water. Stay hydrated before, during, and after your suiting, especially if you're a full suiter. It really takes a lot out of you. Of course, you're going to sweat a lot, so you need to replenish that. I like to do water at the beginning, and then maybe during and after especially maybe power Gatorade or some sports drinks to replenish those electrolytes.
They want to kick off because they're getting a little hot.
Oh, okay. All right, okay, so we're going to go back to this. We're going to actually go to interacting with fursuiters first, because that's something, if you haven't attended furry cons, that's something you probably haven't done a whole lot of.
And so this goes right into safety. So the reason why we're doing this is because we don't want them to overheat, and they've already been in suit for quite some time. So what we're going to do is we're going to look out for them first. We're going to handle all the handling information, and then we'll come back to fursuiting safety and things like that. So let's take care of these two.
Okay, so we're going on to the next page. Let's start. Okay. All right, so interacting with fursuiters. So the most important thing to remember is, although these guys are really cute, just because you have a costume on, cosplay costume is not consent. You always got to ask for hugs. So a lot of times you do that non-verbally. Andy, how would you non-verbally, or Cove, how would you non-verbally ask for a hug? Exactly, just like that. Arms out wide. That's kind of the universal code for hugs. There's a couple things you never want to do. I won't do it, but never surprise a fursuiter from behind or glomp hug them. If they're not aware of you, going like that could be really bad for them. Don't do that. And also, even if it's someone you know, but definitely don't do this if it's someone you don't know, never actually pick them up or give them uppies without asking first, because they might have a medical issue or some aversion to that. You do not want to be in that situation. So for those who haven't fursuited or not familiar with fursuiting, the vision is something you do not really think about. Fursuiters have a huge blind spot in between their eyes. So we're going to demonstrate with Andy here. So Racket, go in front of Andy and move your hand up slowly. And Andy, look forward, straight forward, and tell us when you can see Racket's hand. Wow, that's so anything below that, basically, he cannot see unless he's physically looking down. So you got to, let's see, Cove, yours. I think your eyes are about the same as Andy's. So let's do that face forward here, and let me know when you can see my hand. Okay. Not yet. Nope. Right there. Wow. So that's fursuit vision for you. So if you are a fursuiter, you're going to be doing a lot of moving your head around and stuff like that, and that's totally fine until you get used to the vision in your costume. Every suit is different. So Andy and Cove's eyes are more toony style, which means you see through the entirety of the eye. Now there's certain suits that are realistic style. They may have glass eyes, and those are a lot tougher because you have to see only through the tear duct underneath the eye, and that really limits your vision. Let's see. Sure. Okay, we're going to do peripheral vision test now with Andy. So Racket's going to move I believe he's going to move his hands around. And Andy, let us know when you can see Racket's. Oh yeah, he's going to show his peripheral. There we go. Okay. So it's kind of like that. That's not too bad. Yeah, so that's about the width he can see in front of his suit. Just something to keep in mind when you're interacting with fursuiters. Some fursuiters will not talk. I know both these are silent characters. It's really up to the individual fursuiters how they want to portray their character. If you can make a really unique voice with your character, that's great. More power to you. A lot of us don't have that ability, so Squeakers are frowned upon, especially overuse of squeakers, you know. It can be a little bit irritating, so watch that squeaker use. How can we bounce around here? Want to do sample poses real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do that.
Okay. So when you can always approach the fursuiter if you want to take their picture, and always ask. Okay, it's common courtesy to them because you don't know if they're in a hurry, they're overheating, they're hungry, they're hangry. You don't want that, and they may not want their picture taken, and then, so it's always important just to make sure that you ask and let them do the pose. You know, sometimes they create their own persona of themselves, and so we do common poses like, "Hey, can I take your picture?" Okay, and go. Wait for it. Oh, sorry, hold on. Don't do that. So if you want to take their picture, make sure that you have your camera ready first before you approach them and ask. Because if you go up to them and do what I just did, you know, they're going to be standing there like, "Are you ready yet?" My arm's getting tired. Okay, this is annoying. And then before you know it, you look up and they're gone already. So just make sure you have your camera ready for them. Another way to do that is just to approach from the front and say, "Hey, do you mind?" You know, very simple. And then done, perfect. So what are some other common poses, Andy, that you like to do?
So what I recommend for suitors is there's probably like, you don't want to do the same pose in every photo because that kind of looks repetitive. So I would have like maybe at least 2 or 3 that you can kind of switch up. So Cove, let's see a couple poses that you like to do. That's a good one, yeah. Oh, that's adorable right there, nice. Depending on the emotion of the time, at the time, I guess. But yeah, it's just good to have a little variety.
So one thing that I enjoy doing is when I'm in suit is I have the photographers get in the photo if they possibly can. And as a suitor, I try and get them in the same pose that I am. So if they can't think of a pose and they're doing this, then maybe you can go like this. And then you get in there. See, there you go. You can always show them how to do a pose. I try and show the humans how to do a pose when I'm in suit, and then vice versa. If they're not in a pose and they can't think of one, then I'll try and guide one to them, and then they can mold it however they want.
Yep. And if you ever need to get a fursuiter's attention, make sure you're talking loud and clear because the fursuit head really muffles the sound. Because basically most of them are like foam, and it's hard to hear, especially if it's in a loud environment. So make sure you also wave your arms if you need to get their attention. Give other nonverbal clues. Just make sure you can. Yeah. I think that's good. All right. Thank you very much, Andy and Cove.
Yeah,
Good
thanks,
round
guys.
of applause. Appreciate it. And go get some rest.
Oh, watch out for the couch.
Oh, yep. Don't trip over the couch.
Yeah, sorry. You see how that works? See, they couldn't see the couch even though they sat on it earlier today.
Yeah.
So if they can't see it, they're going to trip over it. So if there's chairs in the way, you see someone about to walk up the stairs and you don't realize it, you don't see them, or they notice that there are stairs there, kind of stop them, do what you can to keep them safe because their peripheral vision is not nearly as good as yours when you don't have anything on your head.
And on that note, there is a fursuit handling panel, and I actually wrote it down here. It's 5 p.m. in room 604. That's actually today, I believe. So if you're interested in fursuit handling or you're a new fursuiter and want to learn that, it's very important. I would attend that panel. Yeah. Oh, that's your...
There you go. The host
Hey,
is right
there.
there.
You go. Host is right there. Thank you.
All right. So you want to go
Okay,
back to...
let's go back, yeah.
All right, so we're going to go back to the first-time suitors. I think we left off on drink lots of water and stay hydrated.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So be aware of your surroundings. Is what we were talking about before, like how Cove walked into a couch. They didn't know that the couch was there because we slightly moved it to make room for this table, but they had to walk around it, right? So either they got lucky and they didn't touch this couch on the way in, or they just completely forgot that there was something massive in the way that can cause them to trip, fall, and hurt themselves. We don't want them to do that. He trips and falls all the time. Way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to make sure you're moving your head up and down, make sure you're seeing in front and also what's in front of you, especially if you're like outside or out, you know, don't want to trip over a curb or something if you're crossing the street. That's always bad. Yeah. Let's see. Go out with a handler too, if you can, especially if you're new to fursuiting. It's basically just a second set of eyes and ears that are looking out for you, and they can also take photos of you because that's always fun too. Have some memories of your fursuiting. So yeah, I always try to go out with at least one handler.
So you don't want, being a first-time handler, you don't want to push your limit right off the bat. You're going to wear yourself out, and you can get dehydrated, and you know it can just not. It can create a bad time at the convention because you get tired and sweaty and gross, and you don't want to ever do it again. So take your time, know your limits, and then gradually push them as your experience grows. I made the mistake of doing 10 hours at once. You get sweaty, gross, smelly, and you just don't have a good time after that. And then nobody else does because that affects everybody around you. So start off slow, take lots of breaks. There are headless lounges on
every floor,
every
I believe.
floor.
Yeah.
So
and they're really cold this year too. If you've been in there.
So drink lots of water, Gatorade, electrolytes, vitamin C, all that stuff. Make sure you stay hydrated. Being a first timer.
Okay, so if you have a suit that has, say you're a deer and you have a large antlers on your suit or have a large tail, a lot of suits are like that, just be aware of your extremities. Like if you're going through a low clearance ceiling and you don't want to hit your head, stuff like that. Or if like you have a dragon with wings, it's stuff like that. You don't want to, knock them into somebody. Antlers, yeah. You want to go about removing your head?
Removing your head?
Yeah.
Okay, so the headless lounge that we were talking about earlier, so it's for fursuiters and handlers. Most performers don't prefer not to have pictures taken when they are resting. It's rude and, it looks like you haven't had your coffee that morning, then no one wants to take their picture. So just be aware of that. If you're bringing your cameras in and the handler wants to take a picture of the person they're handling, then, it's all on them. That's, a consent thing. So if you don't ask, that's an obvious no. If they say no, then no. And most times, if they say yes, make sure you go to a corner or something like that, so that way you don't capture the rest of the room. It's just a common courtesy for all the rest of the performers who are trying to rest, and so they can get back out there and recuperate. Let's see.
Yeah, general no photos in the fursuit lounges at all. So about removing your actual head, like this is a convention. Everyone, you see it a lot. But I know me and Hogwash are more. When we're performing a character, we're basically like on stage. So when you take your head off in view of everyone, it kind of breaks that magic. So we try to avoid that. But obviously, if you have a medical emergency, that's the exception. It's okay. Your health is the most important. If you're overheating, just take the head off.
Correct. Yeah. So you always have to look out for number one, and obviously parents, if you have kids who are suiting, make sure that you're looking out for them as well, to make sure that you're, like I said, not overdoing it, because you can get heat exhaustion, you can get a heat stroke, and that's just going to ruin your con for for the rest of the weekend, and you might feel embarrassed because you overdid it. So we as medics don't want to get called. We're here for emergencies just in case. So with that being said, don't be afraid to take your head off if you absolutely need to. If other suitors if you see them sitting on a couch somewhere or laying on the couch and you're not moving, just, you feel free to just go up to approach them, like tap them on the shoulder or get their attention somehow and say, hey, are you okay? Do you need water? Are you good? Make sure you're always checking on suitors in general, not just looking out for yourself. But always look out for number one, because if you go down, then you have the potential of not helping somebody else that might run into the same problem. Okay.
Okay, let's go on to the social aspect. So how many of you, is this your very first convention ever? Okay, a good number of you. Oh, yeah. So attending your first convention, especially if you're alone, can be quite difficult, especially if you have like social anxiety or difficulty reaching out to people. But you have to remember that we were all new at one time. At one time or another, even for me, we had our first convention experience, and it's not easy. Although it's especially this convention, it's a very nice family atmosphere, very welcoming. So what I would suggest is to go to panels of people with similar interests, like, if, whether it's art, fursuiting, meet and greets, stuff like that. Even making fursuits, there's a lot of those types of panels here. I would try to introduce yourself, get some contact info with people that maybe share similar interests. And I'm actually going to tell a story. I didn't do this in the panels previously, but it's about being new. So my very first ever fur meet, this wasn't a con, but it was a fur meet, and I knew nobody. So I was just going in blind basically, and I saw this guy that was attending the meet who had like lion stuff. I'm obviously a big Lion King fan, so I struck up a conversation with him randomly, and it turns out we had a lot in common, and he ended up being my roommate for 3 years after that. So, so you know what, it's always, although it could feel like you're the only one there, you never know, take a chance, and you never know when lifelong friendship will.
I took a chance too, actually.
Yeah, there you go, yep.
My first, so all of you who are new, who is here by themselves? Wow. All of you, look around, keep your hands up and then look around. All of you who have their hands up, you already have something in common. That's right. So share information, get with each other, and figure out common interests besides being new. I made the mistake, I don't think it's really a mistake, but I went to Further Confusion in 2012 by myself. I drove there by myself, I had my own room, I didn't know anybody. So I have no problems really reaching out to people and talking to people and finding those common interests. So just know that I was where everybody is now. All of you first timers, I went to the con by myself. But as you grow in the convention and in the furry world, you find people who are just like you in one way, shape, or form. And like I said, everybody who is new here and by yourselves, reach out to those other people, because they might have the same anxiety or the same concerns that you guys do. Of, what do I do? I don't know what I'm doing. Where do I go? What is there to do? Reach out, have a conversation, and find common interests, and you will have a better time than just doing it by yourself. Trust me. And
I'd say nowadays it's actually a lot easier to keep in touch with people as opposed to when me and him first started, because like VR chat, Telegram didn't exist back then. Those are all great ways to keep in touch.
I didn't join Twitter until 2016.
Yeah, you were a late bloomer on that one. But yeah, there's a bunch of new avenues nowadays that didn't exist back then, so definitely take advantage of those. Okay, let's go finish up with some miscellaneous topics. The dealer's room, yeah, especially if this is your first time. The dealer's den here it's a lot larger this year. It's looking pretty impressive. It's basically a huge furry shopping mall with vendors selling art, badge commissions, fursuits, accessories, costume parts, everything. So it can be quite overwhelming if it's your first time in a dealer's room. So how would you go about doing that? So what I like to do is I like to take, my first pass going through, I like to take a quick look of all the vendors and make notes of the ones you might want to revisit later. Like that might have, like say you're looking for a fursuit or fursuit parts, like ones that really catch your eye, or like some artists that you really like their style. Make some notes to revisit later within your budget. And then second time around, when you go through, maybe the next day or later in the day, go around with a plan and hit all of those dealers that you want to visit. Let's talk about courtesy real quick. If dealer's room is not really a social area, so if you see a friend there and you want to talk to them, don't like stand in front of somebody's table, because you're taking away business from that vendor. That's just kind of rude. Yeah, just step away from the dealer's tables, and you don't want to block potential customers from access. I would just step outside of the room completely.
So one thing that I like to do is when you go into the dealer's den, it is overwhelming. So you do your one lap, you enjoy all you kind of pinpoint where your favorite artists are and all where your favorite dealers are. So when you go back in there and you find that one thing that you like, but it's just about your entire budget. You don't want to blow your budget on Friday, right? Because then you don't have any money for food, drinks, and fun. Because money doesn't buy happiness, but it does fund it pretty well. So what I like to do is I find one thing in there, and if it's questionable on whether I'm going to blow my budget or not, then what I'll do is I'll leave it there until the last day. If it's not there, then it wasn't meant to be. But if it is, then you can blow whatever budget you have left on Sunday, because everybody likes to go to the dealer's den at the very last second to make sure they get what they want. But if it's there, then, spend that money to support that dealer, get the thing that you desired the most, and, then go home. At least that way you didn't blow your budget the entire time, for the entire con. And in case there was something else that you were interested in on Saturday that wasn't there on Friday, then you'll be able to pick that up instead of having to, blow your budget early. So just be mindful of that budget that you come in with. We don't want to have any, debt issues or anything like that. But that's one way that I prevent myself from spending too much money, is waiting until that last day. And if that thing that I desired is there, then then I'll pick it up. Otherwise, it wasn't meant to be, and maybe then there's next year.
That's a really good point. We should probably add a budgeting section to this panel now that I think about it, because there's a lot of other things that go into that. Obviously hotel and food is quite a big budget killer. Inflation, yeah, especially nowadays. Okay, let's talk about fursuiters and elevators. Okay, so at some cons give fursuiters priority access to elevators, and I believe here it's more just common courtesy.
That's an old thing. They don't do that anymore.
They don't do that anymore?
Well, it's a common courtesy, yes, but I remember back in the early days, in like the early 2010s and before that, the fursuiters had their own line.
Right. I think the only con that I've been to, I don't know if MFF does it because I haven't been there, but AC still does that at the
Really?
at the Westin, the main hotel. They still have their own line. But yeah, it's just basically common courtesy. Many fursuiters don't care, but if someone's overheating, visibly you can tell they need to get back to the room. It's you really should let them on the elevator first. And also non-convention attending guests. We shouldn't have that too much this year because all of our floors are convention attendees only. But if there are non-convention attending guests, they always get priority on the elevators, and you'll see that in the lobby, I guess. Okay, fursuit repairs. If you are fursuiting and you need to make repairs to your suit, there is a huge fursuit making room. It doubled in size this year. It's amazing. It's in room 601 and 602. They're on the 6th floor, kind of by the elevators. They'll have everything you need: sewing machines, repair kits, glue guns. And there's also should be people in there that can help you if you're new to fursuit repairs. It's a very good resource for everyone at the convention.
I don't know how to repair stuff.
What?
I don't know how to repair stuff, so.
Yeah, I can use basics. So I've been fursuiting forever now. All
rely
I
on
can
other
do is
people.
glue gun and basic sewing. That's it. Anything beyond that, I need help.
Okay, so.
Okay.
Questions?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we had. This is a great convention. It's very, the family atmosphere of this convention is just tremendous. You saw it if you walked out of opening ceremonies, everyone welcoming you. That doesn't happen at any other con, guys, trust me. So this is a really special con. So yeah, just try to make the most of your experience. And any questions? We'll answer anything here.
Anything at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When is the next When Furballs Strike? That would be for me, I guess. Yeah. I actually just announced it a few days ago. It's going to be on February 17th, Saturday. Yeah. So here's the thing, my birthday is actually the next Saturday, the 24th of February, and I was like, gosh, how crazy would it be to have it on my birthday? But I decided to take that first day instead.
You need to have it on your birthday and then
I did it several years ago.
In suit.
Perfect score in suit, yeah. Right.
Okay. So February 17th.
Yeah, February 17th, yep.
What time does it start?
Noon. It's the same time as always. It's on, if you're on Meetup, it's on there too. Meetup.com/furlife. Any more questions? Yeah.
In the back. You know what? Let me come to you.
Yeah. I kind of heard that.
If I can. Okay, shoot again.
Any recommendations on if you're going not only to the convention but also other tourist destinations in Seattle? Like, for example, me and my mom, we're actually going to go to the Chihuly Garden and Glass Museum after this panel, or possibly go to the vendor's room to take a look, and then going to those other places, because we're not from Seattle, actually. We are visiting as tourists too.
So they're looking for other sites around Seattle, around the area.
Were you looking?
and how to balance.
Yeah,
the
that's
schedule.
tough. What I recommend, actually, I have a lot of friends that are coming to this convention from out of town, and what I would recommend to them, it might be a little late for you guys, but to have like a whole day, like maybe Monday after the convention for sightseeing, because honestly, it's really hard to get away from the con and then have to come back. Although Seattle Center's not that far away, but as long as you plan it out with public transit, assuming, I don't know if you have a car or vehicle here, but if you do, it's a lot easier, yeah.
I would also talk to the hotel staff,
Yeah.
maybe the front desk, and then see if they have any kind of like tourist pamphlets or things that you can give you a list of things that in the immediate area or in the local area that you can check out, like the market, like you said, the wax museums, any kind of the museums and stuff like that.
Yeah, I will recommend if you're staying here and want to get away for a little bit, Pike Place Market is only about a 10-minute walk here, 10 to 15-minute. It's pretty hilly, but it's something that you can do during the con. And actually, there's a group of fursuiters that usually go down and suit there. Oh, there's hop. Oh, there is? Okay.
Is that for the hotel? Yeah, I would.
Okay, so
one
hop
of
on,
our-
hop off. Okay.
Yeah, so one of our other guests has just said the hop on, hop off public transportation. So I guess that's a thing here in Seattle. So I would check with the hotel staff and see if that is a feature around for the hotel. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that existed. That's cool. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, that's a very good option. Yeah, if it just takes you all to the touristy spots.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff downtown Seattle. If you want recommendations, if you have extra time, it used to be called the EMP Experience Music Project. Now it's called MoPop, the Museum of Pop Culture. They have rotating exhibits. If you like music, especially, there is a lot of really, really cool historical stuff in there. That's one of the coolest museums in this Seattle area, I think.
Is the Kurt Cobain exhibit still there?
I haven't been there in a little while, so I'm not sure, but it should be. I believe that's a permanent one. Yeah. It should.
So there's a guitar. I've been there. I was there probably about I want to say 6 months ago.
Oh, okay.
And they had the entire top floor was Disney.
Oh,
like
man.
all the
remember
so
the
Disney
villain stuff,
creations,
right?
all the dresses,
The
and all the artists,
clothing,
things like that. There's a guitar museum there, or an exhibit. There's the Nirvana exhibit. The birth of hip hop and rap music. Let's see, I don't know what else there is. What's that? Jimi Hendrix. Slow motion.
Oh, still motion.
Still motion.
Still motion.
Oh,
Okay.
that's slower than slow motion.
It is, yeah. So you could hit all those in one stop because they're all very just like within the same block, basically.
Yeah, I think they're all reasonably priced as well too. So.
Yeah, it's a little pricey to go up the Space Needle. It's like $40 now.
Yeah,
so,
I wouldn't pay $40 to go up an elevator.
No, I would personally. I would recommend the Space Needle during the summer because if it was clear and you can actually see everything. But if it's cloudy and rainy, you're not going to be able to see a whole lot up there anyway. So. Yeah, Seattle Aquarium. If you're into aquatic animals, that's right down by the pier. It's right next to the Great Wheel too, a large Ferris wheel that you can see from a lot of the hotel rooms here.
So we have a lot of Seattleites who know everything around here. Yeah. So talk to them. Mm-hmm. we can do this all day.
Oh yeah, and the gum wall. Ooh.
The gum wall.
The gum wall at
I heard
Pike
they
Place.
scraped it a couple times.
Yeah, I just went there the other day actually. Okay, anyone? Any more questions? Yeah. Oh, volunteering. So you have to sign up in advance, and they'll match up with whatever skills you have. They'll find a place for you. This con relies very heavily on its volunteers. So I would just go to anthronorthwest.com, the website, and they should announce when volunteer signups are open. They usually do. So when that happens, it's probably 3 to 4 months before the con.
Probably.
Just sign up and they'll get you in.
I don't know if they're still looking for volunteers,
They might. I don't know.
Yeah, I would check with the registration desk or Flair, and then ask them if they're looking for registration volunteers still.
Yeah, a little bit late on that, but they'll train you up depending on what department you're in, and yeah, and the benefits of being a volunteer too is Gabriel really takes care of the volunteers, so it's awesome, and you help provide a great convention experience to everyone else, and
Treats you like family.
Yeah, treats you like family. That's right. That's what it's all about. Okay, any more questions? Oh yeah, it's if you're local to the Pacific Northwest, it's called Fur Life, Pacific Northwest Furries. Our main method is contact is Meetup. It's meetup.com/furlife, Furlife. I think we have like 4,500 members now, something like that. Crazy.
Can you imagine
So,
fitting
yeah.
4,500 members in the bowling alley?
Well, I'll tell you what. On the next When Furball Strike is 48, and I've been telling everyone for 50, we're gonna buy out the bowling center. We're gonna rent out all 50 lanes. I promise you, we will. So that's gonna be epic. But.
All right. You had one in the back?
Yeah.
What are some tips for budgeting things like food or parking?
That's a good point, and yeah, I'm kind of regretting not putting that in the panel. We'll do that for next year. But for budgeting, yeah, it's something you have to do in advance because everyone has a different budget, so you know what you can spend for the entire weekend. So you have to take that number and divide it kind of by day. What I would do is say you had $400 to spend for the whole weekend for everything. That's $100 a day in food, spending, whatever, in the dealer's room, etc. And you also have to factor in the hotel costs and the parking. Parking is unfortunately pretty expensive here. There's just not downtown Seattle, so that's no way around that. But I would divide it up by day and just make sure you keep that budget per day, especially for food, because it's very easy to spend a lot of money on food without realizing it. Because the restaurants around here are pretty pricey. A lot of them are pretty pricey. So
the most of the things that I do for budgeting is you have your living costs and you have your fun. Yeah. So your living costs is going to be your hotel, parking, food, drinks, waters, Gatorades, coffee, things like that.
Yeah, and
so those are your
advance,
essentials,
right? Yeah.
that you need to maintain yourself, to take care of yourself first. And then whatever you have, what you want to plan for is a miscellaneous or a fun thing. So you have money for the dealer's den. So if you want to potentially get a new set of ears or a tail or feet paws or hand paws, or do you want to expand your furry horizon, then further it. So that would be one thing. And then there's art. So that's why I call it miscellaneous, because you have subcategories, right? So first and foremost is making sure that you are comfortable. And then beyond that, you want to set yourself a budget in advance to your miscellaneous stuff, whether it's, your furry stuff or your artwork, or, if you want to do pins, backpacks, things like that. But like he had mentioned, it has to be done well in advance. So you have to have a goal in mind. Like, I don't want to spend more than $400, right? So that alone is going to probably go into your hotel and costs and things like that. So you have to set a reasonable budget for yourself overall, and then once you figure out the numbers for your own personal health and and fun, then you can set whatever you have remaining onto your miscellaneous.
Yeah, splitting up is really a good idea because for the hotel and parking, you know how much that's going to cost because that's already set. So everything else is what he said, miscellaneous. Funds, basically. That's all your purchases at the con. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I actually have a panel coming up pretty soon, so I'll take one more question if you have it. Anybody? Yes, right there.
Where's the best place to meet people at the con?
Oh, there's a number of different places you can do. The Artist Alley is a big one because there are tables set out for artists. So if you know how to draw or you're interested in learning how to draw, I think that would be an ideal place to meet and greet. There's also panels throughout the entire convention. So make sure you check the Sked app, find what panels you're interested in the most, and then you will find more like-minded people there who could reach out to you, or you could just talk to them and say, hey, you like The Lion King, I like The Lion King too. What kind of knowledge, what kind of background information do you have on The Lion King? What knowledge do you have? So the convention is a big social weekend. You have to do a little bit of research and find out where the best places that you would feel most comfortable to meet other people. Because if you don't feel comfortable, your anxiety is going to go through the roof, your blood pressure is going to skyrocket, and then you're just going to turn red and walk the other way. And that's the exact opposite of what you want to do.
And there is a panel on the schedule for furs with anxiety. So if, that's something you might want to attend if that applies to you. It's a great panel.
Okay, so he has another panel. Right?
Yeah. Oh, quick plug, Furry Jeopardy, second stage, Elba 510 at 12:30. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Anybody
if you
else
like
have any
game
questions
shows.
before?
I think that's the only
before
game
we-
show on the panel this year. So,
Before we split, anybody else have any questions? He's got to go, so I'll do my best. No? Good? Great. Awesome. Everybody have a great time. Enjoy your convention.
Thank you very much.
And we'll
Enjoy
be
a great
around.
con.
Feel free to talk to us outside if you want. Thank you. Thanks, AV.